YouTube. This is Wrestling Amusement Park 962. If you just saw my last video, which was my review of Scream 5. Now, while we're on the movie subject, if you're not aware, um, at Universal Studios in Florida, um, Shrek 3D closed just a couple of days ago on January 10th. It is currently January 17th, so it closed about a week ago. So, what do I think can go in that space? Now, from what I know, that space is not that big. Now, so there's not a lot they can do with it. Plus, I was watching the Tim Tracker's video last night, and apparently they can't use the whole space because one of the spaces in that building is used for Halloween Horror Nights stuff. So there's not a lot they can do with that. So it has to be something they can kind of not use that much, especially during Halloween Horror Nights, but something that they can open up either before Halloween Horror Nights and then close or whatever. So let's get started. First, one of the things I am hearing is about a horror con. Now, if you don't know what that is about supposedly some sort of like villain convention that was based in Orlando. That was in the movie The Minions. So now the problem with that though is would that be like a walkthrough thing? Would it be like a ride vehicle thing or what? That's the only problem. Next is Secret Life of Pets. Now, that was a Universal based picture from a year or two ago. I think it was a year ago, and apparently did very well. So they put a movie or that style ride into Universal Studios Hollywood in California, and apparently that does fairly well. It's been well received. So could that mean it would go in that? Possibly. Except the bad part about it is they would still need one of those areas for Halloween Horror Nights. And from what I have seen of the Secret Life of Pets, um, it's a fairly big ride and it's a fairly long ride. So it's possible, but more likely not. So, with that being said, what else could they put in that? Well, while you're trying to stick with something like that, there are multiple things they could put in that space. So maybe they could look to something that Universal has or owns and do something with that. So, for example, something like I don't want the thing is I don't want another minion based attraction in that space just because it doesn't make sense to have one minion thing across from another minion thing. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, if it was something in a land like Simpsons Land or Dr. Seuss Land or something like that, that's completely understandable. But the problem is that it is toward the front of the park, not really in a land, and it's a lot of stuff people walk by. So it has to be something that they can just put in, maybe update the ride system if they're going to do a ride system, and open up. And the other thing people don't want either are screen-based attractions because that's been done to death. So, what about, I don't know, maybe a Secret Life of Pets style ride, just not make it that big? That is an option, but I'm sure they'll figure something out. Um, Now, the problem I have is I'm not entirely sure what animated stuff like that they could put in something like that is, just because I don't really follow those style of movies a lot. But I'm sure they will figure something out at some point, and they're probably figuring that out now. But it is something that will be cool